so I have this little animation here, which is kind of like an attack, where he's throwing a spell or, you know, some kind of magic fireball or something. And what I want to do here is I want to make sure that every single frame is keyed, because oftentimes if there is some weird tangent situation happening, uh, the keys will get skipped and maybe in Unreal it will look different. So let's write a little script that will help key every frame on this character. So from Maya import cmds, that's going to be the first command. Then we need to determine the length of our animation. So cmds playback, or actually let's do this, set keyframe. And then the nice thing about Maya is once you know your commands a little bit, you can just go to documentation and find out more about things. So for instance, here we have this keyframe command, right? So we know that this is something we can use to set the keys on selection, right? So this command will help us set the keys. Now we have this QSS animation. That's something I made, which selects everything that's keyable on this character. So like all the controls and bones that I want to key. So cmds select, and I'm just going to pass that name in there, QSS animation. And that will basically, set a key on a given frame on given selection. Now I'm going to also create a loop. So first I need to get start frame and end frame. And then I'm going to loop through it, and cmds current time, it's basically a command which allows you to go to a certain frame. Like so, for example, if I do current time to 320, what's going to happen is it's going to go to the frame 320 for me, right? So I just need to know how to find the first and last frame of the animation, and I've already done it before in this tool here. I just need to look it up here because unfortunately I forgot. But playback options, yeah, I think those are the kind of things. Playback options, CMDS playback options. So CMDS playback options, start frame equals true, and can we query that? Um, so let's see what that returns. Um, invalid flag start frame. Animation start frame. We have animation start frame. Let's just go to documentation on this one. And so we have animation start, animation end. We have max time and min time. We can try that. Min time. And can we query it? So that's going to return exactly the beginning of this selection here. So that's going to be our start frame of this particular animation. The reason I have it is isolated like that is because I like to work clip by clip. But basically what it's going to do is going to just take your timeline and go through the whole thing. And then end frame is going to be this, is going to be max time. So we can also print this by selecting it and running it. And we're going to get that. So that's exactly what we want. So basically we have end frame equals. So we're storing that in variable here. We're storing the start frame and end frame in variables. And now we can loop. So for, and some random variable name like I in range from start frame to end frame. And we're going to print it to see what are we getting here first. So if I just do that, I should be getting, okay, so something's wrong here. Okay, so it sounds like in line 6 there's a problem. It needs an integer, but we're giving it float. So this range doesn't like floats. So what we need to do is we can just probably wrap it like this to convert it to integer. And that should then do it. Let's see. Yeah, so we got 318, 19, 20, 21, 22. We didn't get 23, so we still want that one. So what we need to do is end frame plus 1, and then we're going to get them all. You see what I mean? So what we want to do now in our loop, first of all, we want to select the whole thing before the loop. Then we want to go to that. You can even, like if you want to, you can even print something like processing frame. And you can do this nice f-string thing that I added to Python where it's going to tell you. So like, for example, look right now, what it's going to do is going to be printing processing frame like that, right? You want to have it even cleaner. Well, you can print an empty line in the beginning to have kind of like a, you know, a little bit of spacing there. See? And then basically what we want to do is we want to press tab here. That's important in Python. You need the tab or 4 spaces, otherwise it's just going to error. If you do this, it's just not going to work. Look at that. See? So tab or 4 spaces, really diligent, everything lowercase as here. Current time I, so you can do this, and that will basically go through every frame for us. See? Now, we need to make sure that as it's going through a frame that it refreshes. So I'm just going to force it to refresh, which means like reload the viewport. And that will basically kind of work a little slower, but it will go through all the frames. And now, as it's doing that, I want to just set the keyframe. And then in the end, I want to just type in cmds warning, because I like to have it looks animation baked. So if I run this code now, basically what it's going to do is going to go through all those frames and bake my animation. So I can just run it. And, you know, there might be some messages there, but now I can be sure that every single joint and everything has a key, where it should have a key. So now I can export this animation and put it in game and be sure that it's going to look exactly the same. So I'm going to copy that code and put it in my little tool that I've been working on for manage those animations that consist of multiple pieces. And I'm just going to put it into a function like that, bake animation. And I can put my things into functions and call them when I want them. Now the important part here is to describe what it's doing. Bakes given animation on every frame available in timeline. And yeah, that sounds like a good comment. I could add more comments if I wanted to, but it's pretty straightforward to me. I'm using PyCharm Community Edition because it's really nice. And yeah, so now that I have this as a function, I can do something like in my, I have this tool here. It basically, I can reload the tool. And we're going to cover this in other videos, but I just want to show you what's the power of functions here. So I can just basically re-import my tool. And now I can do something like, I can make a graphical interface, but for now, I'm just gonna, call something like this, and that will now, okay, I need to bake animation, that's how I named it, right? Bake animation, anim API, reload anim API. It should be working. Yeah, see, so now I have this option to call it like that. All right, I think this is enough for this one video. Just want to show you how to write some Python. Maybe if you're interested, we can write more Python. There's just so many aspects of this whole project that I don't even know where to start, so I'm kind of just jumping on everything at the same time. Anyway, see you in the next one.